What is happening, people? Welcome back to the channel. Good evening on this Saturday night, people. This is the post-match chat to the post-match chat. Okay, we're doing a little follow-up. We got a new transfer rumor involved. We got a Jonathan Rowe update as well on the Norwich side, I should say. But yeah, we're going to speak a little bit more about the game, some additional thoughts. All my thoughts from earlier stand. Let me just make that clear. I always see in the comments when it's a few hours later from all those that hold off from commenting. They wait until they've calmed down and said, well, let's just calm down a little. It wasn't that bad, you know. We can be that good. We'll be good. We'll be good. But no, I I understand that point. But if you're not disappointed you didn't get 3 points against Portsmouth at home, then I don't know what to say. Maybe we're not in the right space of supporting Leeds United. Everyone supports the club in different ways, but I want my team to win games. And we should be beating Portsmouth at home. But there's a few things I want to add into that as well, because I've listened to Daniel Farker, I've listened to John Meslier, and wow, I mean, just you would think that it's we feel entitled that we should have won the game. Well, a lot of us. Portsmouth came away disappointed they didn't win, and that for me speaks volumes yet again. But look, we'll speak about that in a bit. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop your comments below. Thank you to all my existing members. Big up to all of you, and thank you for the support. If you want to become a member, the link is in the description or is on the it's called the join button next to the subscribe button. Also, as well, when it comes to notifications, because listen, I said this on the watch long, which isn't there anymore, but I said this earlier, but I know that some videos get notifications and you'll get them maybe 8 days later. I think it was 9 days for someone yesterday. All I can say is just redo the bell button, just redo the notification bell, put it to set all so you'll know when I upload or when I go live, and you'll never miss them. But yeah, YouTube in terms of notification hasn't been good, not just for me, but for a lot of people. So yeah, just do that if you want to keep up to date. Nigel saying, hi KG, we were lucky to get a point. Um, I mean, listen, we did more than enough to win, but it's about your efficiency in front of goal. And it was the same story, kind of what we did last year in a lot of games. We are Leeds. Let me just say, KG, do you think we have a good squad to get promoted this year? I 100% do. That does not change for me today, people. We still have the squad to get promoted. They just need to be utilized a bit differently, and that's where your coach comes in. Dr. Cox was saying Leeds need to get rid of Cardalo and get a keeper who pushes Meslier and can take over Meslier in the goal this season. And we are Leeds saying hopefully a new goalie soon. I'm so nervous when he's in goal for us. Yeah, and listen, I know what this is like, beating a dead horse. And I kind of said this earlier as well, where I've said there's no point talking about this because he's been made vice captain. He's obviously seen as a leader for Daniel Farker, but the difference between Meslier and Bamford at this moment in time is that Bamford, he really is the third choice for me. That you've got two other options in there that are way better in terms of Perot and especially Joseph. That if Daniel Farker starts playing Bamford again, that's on him. When it comes to Meslier, it's not so clear cut because I don't think that Darlow wants it enough. I don't. And I think that if the whole City move does come to fruition for him, he will go. And good luck to him. Maybe he will find that a more, easier environment for him to get along in. And Alex Cairns just is not going to go above Meslier. So, look, one dead horse at a time. We can't beat them both, but why not just throw it back out in the atmosphere in hope that we get someone to challenge him? Because for me, Illan Meslier being the undisputed number one is an issue. And it goes back to the time where we had players that were first choice only and they were comfortable. Talking Cooper, no matter what he did, Strout couldn't get ahead of him, even though he was developing into a young stud at centre back. Click, Forshaw. All these guys had spots and no one could take them. And I feel like Meslier is in that camp and he shouldn't have the security. And again, this is not Meslier bashing, it's just telling you what's in front of you, people. And it's hard to get that through like Meslier FC fans' heads. They just don't seem to get it. But he is regressing in front of our eyes year after year. Some of you thought that him getting the vice captaincy would give him that extra boost and everything else like that. No such thing, people. And I'm only giving you little figures here, courtesy of LUFC data, but you can't keep defending this. Like we can't keep doing this. And let me make it clear: the first goal that they scored, seriously poor defending, absolutely abysmal defending from the team. But that's where you get your goalkeeper just to give you that basic save and say, all right, guys, we need to regroup. We need to, we can't let that happen again. Cheers, Meslier, for bailing us out. Thank you so much. But no, you get his crisp, little crisp hands, and it just bounces off and goes in, and you're behind the eight ball. It's frustrating because we've seen this scene so many times. It's almost becoming like Groundhog Day, and I just feel like, and I've put in the title, by the way, Leeds need competition for Meslier. I actually want to just say Leeds need a new number one, but I'm fully aware and smart enough to know that we are not going to sell Meslier now after making him vice captain. But I would love them to bring in a goalkeeper that makes him think, makes him sweat, because clearly Darlow and Cairns are not going to do that. I mean, listen, what say you in the chat, people? Let me know what you're saying, and obviously in the comments. And by the way, I'll go back to the comments on the match reaction earlier at some point tonight or tomorrow. I've skimmed through a few of them, but yeah, I'll get involved in the comments later on today and with this one. Yeah, I hate Player FC too. They're no good for football clubs, especially when you're looking out for the betterment of your football club, and all they do is fall in love with a player. It's bad. Yeah, Nige saying we've seen this movie before, and it's over and over. This isn't like something I'm making up or we're making up today. This has happened numerous times over the last few years. He's not getting any better. He's regressing in front of our eyes. Bring in a keeper on loan. I would love to. Like I say, Strakosha would be my one if you could prize him out of Brentford. He's not going to be their first choice there. Flecken is locked in. And I think if you speak to him and offer him a good chance, if he's not going to get opportunities elsewhere, I think it's a viable option. I do. I think you could possibly get him. And if you don't get him, at least you tried. What's the harm in that? But I do have, there is an issue at the football club with the goalkeeper and one of our strikers being basically trouble. Not trouble as in off the pitch like lunatics. I just mean just bad and below average. And I'm being polite with what I'm saying here. But it's bad to have it at the football club. But with the Bamford thing, I've given up on that until next summer. I feel like maybe it will be next summer where the 49ers and Leeds, hopefully once we're promoted, will buy him out of that final year. But I don't see them doing anything with 2 years. But I've already said, even if you can't get him out, please at least look like you're trying. Let me read a report from somewhere that you've offered Bamford somewhere, but not seeing any of those noises. But having a striker and a goalkeeper this poor, it's no good. It's no good, people. Lodi saying hopefully Cairns plays against Middlesbrough. We'll see if there's a different team for that. I feel like there will be some changes for that one. Russ saying two major issues with Meslier. First, he's never had any competition for his place. Second, he's absolute Russ. I'm trying to have a productive chat. I hear it though, Russ. I hear it, but you're right. And listen, even when we got relegated in that year, it was time for him to lose his spot. He was upset that he lost his spot, but he had no leg to stand on. He was poor in that year. And Joel Robles wasn't like lighting the place on fire, but he was a steadier hand at that time. And this is why I'm saying, when we had a question in the chat earlier, who can replace Meslier? It's not a hard question, people. You know, there's many goalkeepers that can replace him, and that's been my beef with this Meslier thing as of why we haven't tried to sell him and getting another goalkeeper on a free or cheap or on loan, because you could have easily replaced this. And it came to the point as well when I was doing the watch along where Portsmouth are going forward and you're thinking they haven't had a shot once in the second half, but anytime they went forward, you're like, oh no, oh no. But that's been the issue for me with Meslier for quite some time. And you're talking to someone that had high stocks in Illan Meslier. I had the highest stocks. I thought this keeper was going to go to the moon. I honestly did. But I go, as I always say, I go with the information that is presented to me, and the information that I'm seeing and reading and backed up by data says that he is not a good goalkeeper. Yeah, Robles could have done a better job. Yeah, Jonathan saying loyalty has cost us so many times. Leeds United come first, players are secondary, as it is with players as well. Jonathan's right. You know, players, it's what's best for them at whichever club they're at, the best opportunity, best pay packet. It's what goes both ways. But the thing is, with some fans, they fall in love with players and they can't see past them. They think that there's nothing else better out there but that player, and you just can't speak to them. But I know with my audience, I'm not speaking to those people, so it's cool. So I'm speaking to people that understand the full game of football. Don't think he's ever saved a penalty ever, has he? I think somebody said he has saved one, Paul. But even so today, I mean, that whole thing where he's walking up to him like he's Emmy Martinez. I mean, it's like, Meslier, concentrate on just trying to save the penalty. You are not Martinez or anywhere close. So, just get back on your line. And the way the Portsmouth player just rolled up for that one, he knew he was going to score. And by the way, their XG, I mean, if you're into XG, I'm not so big into it, as I discussed this with Connor, but their 0.89 XG, apparently 0.79 of it was the penalty. So again, that just shows you just how bad it is. And we got one save out of Meslier for the game. Yeah, listen, Chucky Eyes here. What are his strengths? I would have said a couple years ago, shot stopping. And for me, he was one of those, and I've been on here and I've said it, I'm on record as saying at one point, if it's one-on-one with Meslier, I think he's absolutely brilliant. One-on-one, I trust him implicitly. It's when there's bodies in the way in the box where he gets a little mumble, doesn't get a clear sight of things, and it goes in on his near post, or he gets a touch on it and it goes in. But as the years have gone on, those things are still a problem, and the one-on-one saves have also decreased as well. So it's all falling apart. He's not dominant in the air. He's not a vocal goalkeeper. There really isn't much there. But the thing is with him, you have to take advantage of it. He's got name value. So if you're Leeds United, you have to cash in on that. But it's obviously not going to happen because they named him vice captain. So there we go. Ian here saying Meslier was not great today, but he was not alone. Defending was awful. Yeah, 100%, Ian. And I, that's a whole separate issue. And the defending was bad. And Daniel Farker himself. So if anyone else is saying that this is, harsh, well, Daniel Farker said it too in his post match, because he said, I want to be defensively tighter, and conceding 3 against Portsmouth at home is not the greatest start. That is from Daniel Farker himself. But Ian, yeah, absolutely. But it's talking about things like the first goal where the defense was split wide open and it was embarrassing. But your goalkeeper's got to get that at the near post. It shouldn't even be a talking point. These are the things I'm talking about. Their goalkeeper saved one from Nanto at the near post. No one in Portsmouth is probably going to talk about that because it's a standard save. Meslier lets these in and he makes them talking points. That's the problem. Yeah, Allison saying, I thought our defense looked weak. Yeah, I thought they were all bad. And listen, just to clear something up, because I know if you have asked me about Roden being injured. Well, Graham Smith has just said this in terms of he's not gone to hospital or nothing like that. He's fine. It's not true. So according to Graham Smith, Joe Roden is fine. But yeah, it wasn't a fine outing for a lot of people. And listen, I've spoken about Meslier now. That's it on that. I'm going to try not to speak about it again. I do try not to speak about certain players because there's just no point. But you never know. If you put it out there, maybe something will happen. Maybe the universe will answer your call. I don't know. But just in regards to the rest of the team today, there's a lot to be positive about in terms of some of the moves that we were making, especially Jorginho. But yeah, some of the players today had shockers. And Allison's there saying our defense looked weak. I thought Ampadu probably had his worst game for Leeds United that I can remember. I thought Ampadu was really bad today. Roden wasn't his usual steady self. And yeah, Jayden Bogle defensively, Portsmouth picked it apart. Listen, again, going with what you see on the pitch, Portsmouth were exploiting us down the right-hand side. So they obviously knew that there was a defensive lapse on that side, and they did exploit it a few times when they did actually go forward. So Jayden Bogle, we need to get a little bit extra on the defensive side there. But this is the thing. There's a lot of time to work on that. It will get better for me. I do, wholeheartedly think it will get better. But yeah, the defense was not good today. And I think it was a collective thing. I want to speak about this as well. Sam here saying Gruev. Let me just take a sip. Because I know I saw a comment saying that the double pivot didn't work. But what I will say is that the double pivot wasn't really a double pivot through the whole game because Gruev was pushing forward. Now, whether Gruev is the right player to push forward, that's a whole other question. But a lot of the time, it was Ampadu left by himself with Gruev going forward. As we saw, sometimes Jorginho was threading it through to Gruev, who was then trying to play it through to Joseph. So we are getting that roaming 8. Is Gruev the right person for that? That's a whole other question. If maybe he will get better as the season goes on. And as we saw last year, he was very buried in that number 6 position where he was just tackling, passing it off to the side. Diagonals got cancelled at some point by the manager. And, he was playing it simple. So it's going to take a little bit of getting used to, a little bit of new movement to take there. But I think it is still a good system in terms of letting one of our midfielders roam, especially in a home game against Portsmouth. Oh, okay, okay, yeah. Sam saying what I meant was he should have taken off Ampadu instead of Gruev. Thought Gruev done okay. Oh, okay, yeah, Sam. Yeah, I mean, I said that in the watch along, Sam. I did say if I was going to take off one of the two, it would be Ampadu at the time because I thought, honestly, and I love Ampadu. So please, there is no hate on Ampadu, and I think he'll come back in the next game and give us the usual Ampadu performances. But he wasn't having a good game, and I was thinking if you were going to take off one of the two and bring on Rothwell, I would probably take off Ampadu. But then, does it look good taking off your brand new captain so early? Sometimes you have to suffer the optics. Sometimes you do have to suffer that and just say, hey, just say Ampadu had a little niggle and he had to come off or something. Make something up. They lie all the time, people. They lie all the time. So, yeah, I think that he could have probably come off before Gruev. Yeah, yeah. The constant passing back does my head in. Yeah, and that's what happened. We allowed Portsmouth to get into shape, and they didn't have to move because we kept on moving the ball. I know Daniel Farker after the game was talking about all the passes, possession, but again, those are stats that can be, scrutinized and manipulated to your way because when you're seeing the ball go from Ampadu, Rodon, back to Meslier, over to Bogle, if Bogle doesn't go forward, he then brings it back into Ampadu, who then goes back to Rodon, who then tries to go out the other way. You're passing the ball, but what's the intent? And when we were moving the ball quickly, Portsmouth they couldn't handle us, but we didn't do it enough in the game. We didn't do nearly enough. Yeah, Ian saying, in all honesty, KG, it was a below par performance from everyone. It was. Listen, Ian and everyone else, when you're having a home game against Portsmouth, uh-oh, fraudulent slip. When you're having a home game against Portsmouth and you're making substitutions to counter them, it's a poor game. It's a poor game. Too many chances missed. Not enough control of the ball in important areas. Not talking about the centre backs to each other. I mean, in attacking areas. It was a poor game, and it's got to get better. It has to get better for Farker because even in the comment section, like I say, I haven't gone through it in detail, but there's a lot of people questioning Daniel Farker already. And I did say this was going to happen, people. I did say this was going to happen. I said it was going to happen a few days ago. I said if Sheffield United come out all guns blazing Friday and we somehow don't beat Portsmouth, people are going to start asking questions already, and that has happened already. It was. Uh, Okay, that's got to be a troll. Honestly, that's got to be a troll. I got to get all trolls out. I'm sorry, you can't stay here. I'm sorry, you just can't. Um, yeah, Matt here saying after the fullback on a booking, and then we made changes and took all our pace off. It killed us. Surely you feed the wingers and drive at the book fullback. Matt on the money, and that was another big mistake he made in terms of taking off Nonto. And even Nonto was a bit perplexed. He was like, "Really, me?" Because Nonto was very quiet in the first half for me. Apart from that chance where he missed in the opening, was it 2 minutes? In the second half, he was cooking. He was getting into space. He was running at players. It was Nanto time, and he took him off. Big mistake for me. Big mistake. But that's another one of Farker's issues. This is nothing new that we're seeing. It's making the wrong subs. He does that. Now Brendan Aronson paid off. That was a good one for Brendan, and hopefully he takes confidence from the goal. No matter what you say about Brendan Aronson with that last miss, yeah, it was a bad one. Even Farker said, I don't know how he missed it. He put too much on it. He put too much thought on it, putting it in the corner. When realistically, these goalkeepers in this division, just put it on target. It's probably going to go in. These keepers are trash. All of them, man. All of them are crap. I don't like any of this. I hate this division, man. Honestly, it's so bad. But listen, yeah, in terms of Aronson, good for him to get his confidence up. But taking off Willie Nanto for me was the wrong decision. 100. I don't know if anyone else feels the same. Maybe, is it hindsight? No, because in the watch long I said I wouldn't have taken off Nanto, but yeah, it is what it is. Nige here saying the 49ers must have seen it today, not good enough for automatic promotion. I disagree with that, Nige. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. We are definitely good enough for automatic promotion. And I think this is one of those things here where the coach just needs to do a bit more. Yes, the players have got their parts to do, people, but the players are a sum of their coach. They are. You mirror your coach. Now, if a different coach comes in tomorrow with a different game plan, guess what? These players all play differently. That's what happens. It will take time, but that's what will happen. Daniel Varka just has to work out kinks in this team and just get it working. We someone made a great comment today, John Knox, saying that we shouldn't have made substitutions today. And what he meant was We should have been in control where we're making subs only if it's needed, only if it's necessary because we want to. But we was making subs to counter Portsmouth, and that should never be the case, people. Never, never. And listen, he even said today as well, Daniel Farker, about arrogance in the team. Maybe there was that. And I've said this, look, we can be arrogant as fans because we're just fans. We're not out there. The players have got to be professional. And you saw there was some sloppy passing going on out there at times, some very slack passing from everyone involved, everybody involved in that. They have to clean that up and just get back on track. Hey, listen, maybe this 3-3 draw will be a blessing in disguise. Maybe it will be the kick up the backside to say, we're not just going to walk it. You need to earn every point that you get in this league. Maybe that will be it. I'm hoping that's it, people, because if not, it's going to get sticky for Mr. Farker. It will. You know, people are already talking about the away game at West Brom saying he better win. That's what happens when you're in this job. That's what happens, people. Pressure. Dr. Cox saying Farker is arrogant at times himself. He is, but listen, for me, arrogance is good. I think everybody in big positions need arrogance, confidence, arrogance. You need it all. You do. You need it all. I like arrogant people. They usually get the job done, and if not, they'll try their best to get it done the next time. I like confident people. So, but you have to translate that into talent as well, which Farker, he's got some work to do. He's got some work to do. Listen, the 49ers were there today. I would say that they're looking at it going, 2 wins in 9 at the end of last season, 3-3 draw just about against Portsmouth today. We're looking, Daniel. We're backing you. Oh, and somebody else earlier, I know I saw somebody earlier say that Daniel Farker hasn't been backed. If he hasn't been backed, then Daniel Farker shouldn't come out and say that he is being backed and he trusts the key people in positions completely. So for me, Daniel Farker is being backed, people. Yes, we're having to sell players. That's the price of failure. But he is being backed, and they are trying to get him reinforcements to add to the squad. But it is difficult to do. But yeah, Daniel Farker is definitely being backed, people. And even if he wasn't, this squad enough was definitely better enough to beat Portsmouth today. KG, what do you think of the Portsmouth coach? Well, I don't really think much of him because I don't really know him too well. But what I will say, Dr. Cox, is that he knew that they had started badly, and he felt that Leeds were not getting arrogant, but were getting comfortable and thought that they were going to get 2-3. And then they came out and did what they needed to do. And near the end, I'm just paraphrasing here from what I was listening to him say. He was disappointed that they didn't take all 3 points because it was near the perfect away performance. You should not be having a newly promoted League One manager talking to you like this. You shouldn't have a League One manager almost sunning you like this, saying that I tactically got everything right against this man. I feel like we should have got 3 points. And it happened a few times last season. Look at Russell Martin, absolutely sunned Daniel Farker. That's where his deficiencies come for me. He's not tactically great for me, but he's got to use the talent that he has and use it to his advantage for me. And listen, if you think I'm being harsh, cool, but I'm just going again with the evidence that I'm seeing. Yeah, Ian, I don't care what Norwich got beat by Oxford. Norwich have got absolutely nothing to do with this, and Norwich don't have as good a team as Leeds United right now. So that's not context. That's an irrelevant point. So, but nice try anyway. Nice try. Yeah, John Mousinho, not Mourinho. Close enough, Dr. Fox. Dr. Cox, Dr. Fox is doing what Russell Martin did today. Yeah, yeah. Gavin here saying spend road cash on a new keeper. Yeah, I wouldn't go that far because we don't need to. We really don't need to. They're not that expensive to replace him. Yeah, I'm not overly sold on Fark. I understand. Listen, the thing is, I understand keeping him as well because it's a really weird thing for me. He does need to get it right as soon as possible, but I'm willing to give him that little bit of time. And when I say little bit of time, I'm probably talking 5 games because I'm still counting the 2 wins in 9. I'm not starting this from a fresh slate. I'm not. I'm sure Preston fans are the same. They're not looking at it as 1 game not scored. They're looking at it as 6 games in a row where they haven't scored under their present manager. I'm looking at it the same way because you've had a full preseason. You know what you need to do. Sorry, no excuses for you. Yeah, Nick, I hear that as well. Farker saying it's Leeds, we never do it the easy way in the post-match drove me crazy. Not a high achievers mentality. Yeah, he says that a lot though. But the thing is, it gets people on side, Nick. And he does this a lot. He's very good at the PR game. He's very good. He's very savvy with what he says. He says that, remember that thing last year of, the doubters stay over there, but if you're a believer, you're with us. He knows what he's doing because he knows the mentality of most of the fan base, and it's all passion merchant. He knows that. So all he has to do is get a few things of the usual dread of Leeds United fans and play into that, and he's got them on side. He knows that as well. He's a smart man. Lars with the super chat. Thank you, Lars. With some luck, we could have won this 5-something. Should have kept Nanto on. Apart from that, I think it's on the players and fine margin. Yeah, of course. Listen, the first few minutes, 7 minutes, we hit the bar 3 times. That's just unlucky. But it's all about the moments after. What do you do after those moments? How does the game play out for you? And when we got that first goal, we should have gone on and on. The problem is when we get a goal, we sit back. It is almost like Gareth Southgate. It is almost like Gareth Southgate. I do see the resemblance, but yeah, Lars. Of course, if some buts are one thing, but it's about the results, isn't it? And it's about what you do. It's the fine margins that get you up. It's the fine margins that kept us down. So if you're not closing those margins, we'll be in the exact same position as we were last season, and we can't have that again. We can't. Yeah, gift of the gab. He absolutely has that, Ryan. He's good. He's good. But yeah, in terms of that in Farker, yeah, let's just hope he gets it right. Like I say, anyone that thinks I want Farker out, you're wrong, because I want him to stay because it means we're doing what we're supposed to do. I don't want to go through the whole process of going through another manager because we're down in 8th position struggling. No way, no way, not for me. Get us up and we'll talk about it in the summer. All right, that's what I say anyway. All right. BMG saying, I'm starting to wonder if Farker is just relying on having better players, but he's not up to it as a tactician. Yeah, BMG, we'll lend it on that, but some would say that's a story of his career if you look at where he's been so far. But yeah, in regards to the link, let's go on to this next one. And while I'm getting these up, please hit a like on the video if you haven't already. Really does help out the channel. Some positives from today. Jorginho with the assist for Willy Gnonto. Just in continuation, he's assisted 4 of Willy Gnonto's last 5 goals for the club, which is great. Good understanding, good synergy there, good connection. Long may that continue, because we're going to need that through the season. As we saw with Gnonto as well, great to see him get off the mark. Think he could have probably won us the game if he stayed on, but that's ifs and buts. But you can see that Gnonto Rutter thing is going to be a thing of beauty as long as they're here, and hopefully they're here past the window. People, fingers crossed, everyone. But yeah, that was definitely a positive today. But we need Jorginho to get the ball more in a more advanced roles, and that's where Ampadu can help him out by just releasing that ball a bit quicker. Another one is Pascal Struijk, who has scored in 3 consecutive Leeds appearances, versus Ipswich, Preston, and Portsmouth. Now, obviously, there was a delay due to his injury, but this is why with Pascal, I think he is good for at least 6 or 7 goals a season. And I'm not saying he's going to get like striker tallies, but he is so dangerous at attacking set pieces and obviously taking penalties, which is great, that he is good for goals. He's got that goal scoring thing for me. I've always thought that about him. Even when he was going through his real downtime, I thought that he should have the confidence to get that big old head on something and get him in. And I do see him, as long as he stays fit, I see him contributing with a few more goals this season. But yeah, that is another positive for me today in terms of Pascal. Yeah, Pascal Van Nistelrooy finish. It was a quality penalty, man, from Pascal. But that was his one to watch along. When people saying Pascal's like, yeah, he's been good for us in penalty shootouts before. I've got no worries about Pascal taking the pen. William here with the super chat. Giving Meslier a leadership role is not based on performance. That's true, William. Need somebody pushing him, not give a vote of confidence. I agree 100%, William, with all of that. 100. He's definitely a unit, Lars. He's put on even more size as well, so he looks even more intimidating, which I like. He's not gone out too much, but he's put on some good muscle. I like the look of Pascal, man. I can't put this on. I'll put this one at BMG. I will. Farker did incredibly well when he first took over a chaotic situation. I agree with that. But since we lost out unbeaten run, he's slowly getting worse. Yeah, and yeah, I do agree with that. But let's hope he turns it around for the sake of the football club. BMG, he's got to turn it around. We need this. We need this season. So yeah, there's Pascal Struijk. There's another positive. Shall we just quickly touch on the Jonathan Rowe update? Because we know he dropped out of the squad today for Norwich. He did travel with the team, and this was thrown up on Rowe. It was too late a decision. It shouldn't happen on game day. It's fair to say it can have some effect on the performance. Him, I, and Ben. That's very interesting. Okay, need to have a conversation about what happened today. So there you are. Jonathan Rowe is seemingly in hot water down there in Norwich. And it does seem like there's a split to happen unless Norwich take the same route that we did with Willie Nonto last year and say, you're not going anywhere. So we'll see how this plays out. I don't think maybe Norwich have got the financial muscle to say no to an offer that they deem acceptable for Jonathan Rowe, but it does look like his future lays away, whether it's at Leeds United, whether it's at Marseille, that remains to be seen. And until there's a further update on that, I'm going to try and have Sunday off, but I get the feeling we're going to have more Jonathan Rowe news tomorrow. And if there is, I will be back, of course. Yeah, he's definitely been lifting, man. He looks good for it too. Ryan here saying, I think today's result will speed up any transfer business we're involved in. Yeah, you always hope that either way, whether you win or lose, but we know that this has happened with us historically. We don't know if that happens with us under the 49ers, but we knew, remember when we had Bielsa and the old regime, we were in trouble that January. And then we stupidly did we beat West Ham? We beat somebody 3-1. I remember that. It was early in January. And all of a sudden, we don't need to sign no more players. Remember that. And that was the note that came out as well. Insane. And I always remember that, people, because I always go back to this, but I did an FA Cup review of the West Ham game, what we lost, and I did about 3 minutes of the review about the game, and the rest of the 40 is like, where's the signings? We need signings. This team needs help. All because we won one game. Oh, absolutely crazy. But that's how we used to run. I don't know if we'll run the same way, but we do need help. We do need help on this thing. And like I say, I think with Joe Gelhardt, people, yeah, the Jack Harrison hat trick game, that was it. Yeah. I think you might be right, Jack. That may have been the game. But with this, you can already see with Gelhardt yet again. Don't quote me on this, but I do feel like he's going to go out on loan. I think once we get in, like someone like a Jonathan Rowe, I think we're going to facilitate a Gelhardt move, because even today he wasn't used, so he's already had that kind of usage already. No point in doing that again. Go out on loan and get some football under your belt. Yeah. You guys remember. Yes, you guys remember. You see, distant memories, but they're still there in the back of our minds, right? So Giles saying, can someone explain to Bamford that one of his jobs is... Why did I put this up? So Giles, you know how I feel. And listen, I've already spoken about Meslier. I can't do Bamford as well. That will just bring everybody down. But we all know. We all know, Sajal. I hear it. I absolutely hear it. And yeah, Gavin, create 10 chances to score 2 goals. This nonsense has been going on far too long. And look, this is even Daniel Farker saying that himself. He said that we've been working on that. We need to work on our efficiency. He talked about all the XG stuff. So just continue, eh? But yeah, we'll see how the Daniel Farker, how the Jonathan Rowe thing comes out. But we do have a new link, and that is Bashir Humphreys. Fabrizio Romano has reported that the Chelsea defender will leave in the coming days, either on loan or permanent. Leeds United and Burnley among the clubs showing concrete interest. Bundesliga clubs also keen, as England under-21 international will try new chapter. As it stands, Chelsea prefer a sale, which is no surprise, as it will probably go towards their next £20 million signing of who nobody knows. But what I will say with Bashir Humphreys, I'm not totally familiar with his game. But if it is to get further first-team football in his preferred position, which is centre-back, it probably won't be here. Just going by that, if he's looking for regular first-team football, I think maybe even DeBayo may be in front of him. But with Bashir, he apparently can play on the right. He got his goal that he scored for Swansea when he played down the left, because he may drive a few of you crazy, because he's a left-footed right centre-back. He's a left-footed right centre-back who can play right back, so he would be inverting a lot as he cuts inside. But for Swansea, he did play at left-back for him, so he seems to be very versatile along the line, but he's primarily a centre-back. So I guess we'll see where this goes. If he's looking for regular first-team football, this probably won't be the place for him, because he's not going to get ahead of Joe Rodon, which is just obvious. We shall see with this one. Can he play in net? I don't know, I don't know. Yeah, Dr. Foxy could cover Firpo. Yeah, I mean, it would be one of those where you're thinking, why don't you just go and get an out-and-out left back? But maybe then it would push Sam Byram to the left back spot, which in all honesty, for me, I feel like he performed better in the left back spot than he did the right back spot last season, which is crazy considering he was a right back. Maybe it does move him down out to the left, and then if Byron plays on the left back, and Humphreys plays right, they're opposite foot on both flanks. Because we saw he tried that today as well, people. And it still puzzled me when I was watching it. I was like, why have Firpo and Bogle switch sides? Like, what's the meaning of this? What you cooking here? I don't get it, but I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to find out. But I didn't understand that little switch that they had. So maybe that could be an option for them going forward if they're looking to do that kind of mix. Let me just see here. There was another super chat. Let me see. Sam here just saying here or asking, would you make changes for the cup in midweek later? Yeah, absolutely would. Yeah. I've always said I like cup runs, but I think a home game against Middlesbrough is still a good time to see what other people have got to offer and then come back strong against West Brom on the weekend. So yeah, I would make some changes for the cup 100%. And I think Daniel Farker will do that as well. So yeah. Rusty is saying as soon as it's known we've shown interest in the player, all the vultures jump on board. I'd like us to not be frivolous with money, just be faster securing signings. Yeah, Russ, didn't you say that you just paid a 15 million for Rowe, or is that someone else? Russ, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. I'm sure you just paid a 15 million for Rowe, or it could be somebody else. I don't know. Everyone's been cooking in the comments lately. Might be getting you mixed up. Let's have a look here. Yeah, Scott saying Byron, Verba, Aronson, Peru will all start against Middlesbrough. I can see that, Scott. But look at that. Even the player Scott's mentioned there, is that really that much weaker in a cup game? I think that's pretty good to put out. So yeah, we'll see what we do for the cup game when it comes around, and we'll preview that at the time. But yeah, I think that is it, people. I think that is it. I think I've got everything out the way. Yeah, I do. I've got that out the way. Yeah. Let's have a look. Dr. Cox here, 12 million plus Joffrey for Rowe. You know what, Dr. Cox, that's not actually a bad idea. That's not actually a bad idea because I'm not sure what Gelhar's worth is at this point in time. It's definitely not what it should have been at this point. Maybe not 12, maybe 10. Maybe 10. Let's knock off 2 million for that. Yeah, Gelhart, and let's give him a little, I don't know, give him a little add-on, in terms of when we get promoted or so. That's a pretty good offer. I like that one still. But yeah, listen, people, that is it for the late update. I hope you've enjoyed it, and hopefully you got additional information from the game today. Not a disaster from today, but it is disappointing to not win that game. I don't know how you cannot be disappointed not to beat Portsmouth. But yeah, listen, people, please, if you haven't already, like the video, drop your comments below, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I've got a day off tomorrow, but get the feeling I'm not going to. So I'll see you in the next one, people. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Peace out.